Hey, good morning. Let's go over today's trade plan. So in the earlier part of the overnight session, we saw a continuation to a fresh all-time high of 24.37 quarter. And now off the non-farm payroll report, we've seen a little bit of selling come into the market. But given yesterday's balanced breakout, our overall short-term bias will continue to be bullish and buyers can be active at the support zones below. Now, the challenge for buyers today is that the upside may be limited because of the fact that the market has made a pretty decent move from yesterday's low all the way up to 37 quarter. The upside is questionable here, so we don't really know how much further ES can go given that it's a Friday, the main catalyst is already out of the way, and now we're heading into a weekend. So the market could just end up balancing and consolidating after yesterday's strong move. That would be very typical and very normal. So if ES pulls back towards 24.5 to 26.5, that's a spot where the buy side could step in. And in the event that 24.5 to 26.5 doesn't hold, buyers can still be active at 24.22. And then the key support is going to be 17 quarter to 19 quarter because that marks the balanced breakout area. Now, ideally, we don't want to see such a steep pullback because that would put the entire breakout into question. So the higher probability scenario is for the market to hold at initial support or at 24.22 and then start to balance at these higher prices. On the upside, we have resistance at 34.75 to 37 quarter, but keep in mind that this is purely based off the price action that we've seen in the overnight session. And if off the open we start to see some decent upside momentum, then there is still potential for ES to make yet another all-time high and head higher. And then beyond the overnight high of 37 quarter, we don't have any reference point. There is no hard resistance. But given the range expectation on the day, if the overnight low holds and we start going higher, then there would be potential for ES to tag 42.75 to 44.75. That would be very much in alignment with the average range that we've seen in the market. But if ES breaks below the overnight low and starts to head lower into initial support or even 24.22, then the upside could end up being capped at the 34.75 to 37 quarter initial resistance. So the main scenario and the main idea today is, given the balanced breakout that we saw yesterday, the market is probably going to end up consolidating and balancing and processing that breakout. And ideally, we want to see ES holding above the 24.5 to 26.5 initial support. And if the market is very strong, then there is even a chance that it could hold above the overnight low and the previous close area at 28.75 to 29.5. That is something we will have to assess in real time. So given the overall bullish bias, our focus is going to be more so on the long side, but with the understanding that the upside from these higher prices could be limited. And that's the main reason that we still need to be aware of trade location and make sure that there is enough reward potential on any long setups that could present themselves today. So keep that idea in mind. The target needs to be big enough to justify the entry. But in terms of our bias, that is still bullish. And the expectation is for buyers to defend at pretty much every area of support as the market pulls back. So those are the main thoughts. Let's see if the buy side can maintain the control that we saw yesterday, and we'll take it from there.